Hello and welcome to another late night owl. Woot, 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 woot. So we had a blast. We had an amazing time at Anime Expo. Last week? Was it last week? Uh, yeah.
2 weeks, right?
Has it been 2 weeks already? Shit. Yeah. What did you guys think?
Well, it was crazy. Like, it's way bigger than I remember. I don't remember them having like Kentia, like the big basement.
Well, apparently they doubled the amount of people who came this year, right? Because we saw in like a certain panel or whatever, it was like 50,000 people last year and 100,000 this year.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it was brutal. Couldn't even walk around. And it's like everywhere you go was a line.
yeah,
You're in a line to get in the Anime Expo, which was like 2 hours, 2 3 hours. And then once we got in, it was like another line just to walk around and look at all these amazing stuff. It was such a wonderful time that yeah, I never want to go ever again. One time was good enough for me.
It's crazy because like when we went, according to Wikipedia, it was 49K people, 49,000,
hmm
and then I think and this year was 115,000.
Yeah. Oh, that's like overall, right? Though, like it has to be what's it called? Those people that just bought the tickets and didn't even go. Like they're just counting how
They're
much
just
tickets were
counting the
sold, right?
people that are attendees, but they're not counting the people that are like there working and running the panels, stuff like that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, if like overall it's over 350,000 people, which is crazy.
Oh yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I guess they include like the parking people too and stuff like that.
Looks like they're gonna have to increase the location.
Dang, that is a lot of people. uh,
Yeah, to fit in that small spot dome. Yeah. Um. Shit. There's like we had like no plans whatsoever. They didn't even. Yeah, actually, we didn't even go to any one of those side rooms where it's like we're gonna show a trailer or something like that. Yeah, none of that. Just walked around, you know, checking out cosplay chicks. There's maybe like one or two that was cute, but other than that, it was just a bunch of dudes that you're like, is that a dude? I think that's a dude. Yeah, that's a dude. yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I just like summed it up in like 3 minutes. All right,
you don't sound very happy.
I'm not happy, man. Anime Expo was depressing. Just the thought of it was depressing. Just thinking back on it is depressing.
I think you have to go all 4 days to get the experience.
I think I just have to go as like a cosplay, like or a cosplayer or something.
Yeah,
As just as an attendee is ridiculous, where you're just like waiting ninety
and
percent of the time.
also we can't bring anything.
What do you mean?
No bags.
Oh,
So you have to wait in
Cancel.
oh yeah, there you go.
that 4 hour line,
Yeah,
which we were lucky enough to only wait 2 hours and 30 minutes.
it was. It was that first line that killed us. We're too old to just stand and do nothing for 2.5 hours. Our frail otome bodies can't handle it.
You know, I really thought about it, about this whole like we're complaining that we're getting old, and then I realized that when you're finally old, like let's say like once you hit 30, you'll be like, oh, I'm old now. But then when you're 40, you're like, oh, I'm actually old now. So that means you could have been young for 10 more years.
That's true.
So we're like kind of fucked up on this. I thought about it and I was like, oh, I should stop saying we're old because we're not.
Yeah, it's not worth it. You gotta be more optimistic.
Yeah, you could
So
you can be young for 10 more years, but if you keep saying you're old right now, yeah, you're
so
gonna be old.
whenever someone asks you how old you are, you gotta be like, I'm 30 years young.
No,
Just replace it old with young.
you don't say that. You just be like, you're 30 years old, but you don't like say you're like old, you know.
But
Oh,
that's
my
more
body's breaking down.
yeah, but that's more optimistic, right? You're like, I'm 30 years young.
I wouldn't say that's optimistic. I would say that's unreal.
What? How's it unreal?
Because 30 years young is like a made up, what is that? Kind of like a word to cover up reality.
What?
uh,
Okay, all right.
I don't know. Every time someone says that, it it just makes me laugh.
Okay, so it's okay if you're old, like if you're like 70, 60 years old, you're like, I'm still 60, 70 years young. You're like, oh,
Yeah, they
that's
can say
cute.
that.
And
Yeah,
then when we say it, it's like, no, fuck you.
yeah, but if you say you're 30 years young, it's too like, because society still considers you young. Like your body isn't failing you.
Yeah, it seems more like mocking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's it's more like due to certain. I feel like you're more aware of your body rather than like it's failing you. It's more like, hey, you have to actually take care of your body, all right? Because it's like before when you're young, you can like you can like break a leg and recover in a week. But yeah, or you can drink like a shitload of liquor, you'll be okay. But now you're like, nah, better not drink too much caffeine, too much sugar. Gotta eat well. Take some baths, get some massage.
Yeah, well,
Gotta take care of yourself more. But then when like you're old, even if you so
yeah, and apparently around the age of 35 is when you actually start to know your own body limits and stuff. That's why there's like a lot of older people that does like marathons, like full marathons and stuff like that. It's because they're at their peak performance for their body. That's a pretty interesting fact that I learned.
you
So yeah, 30 years young.
go for it.
All right, I have no plans of what to talk about. What are we talking about? You guys ever heard of White Claw?
White clone?
White Claw.
White claw? No.
This
No.
podcast is sponsored and incorporated by White Claw. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, have you guys had like the LaCroix, like the sparkling water, like the flavor water,
Oh
No.
yeah.
or have you at least heard of it where it's like not well, it's kind of flavored. It's not like there's like zero sugar. It's still water, but it just has like those flavor like lime or
Is it the one with like
raspberry.
antioxidants and stuff like that?
I think so.
I think I've had it. It's pretty good, I think. I had like the grapefruit one.
Yeah, but it's just like pure carbonated water is what it is, just with some flavors. But
Okay.
First, what's it called? There's this one called White Claw where it's the alcoholic version of it. It's amazing. It's like a vegan LaCroix.
Wait,
uh,
but it's alcoholic?
yeah, it's alcoholic. It has like 5% alcohol in like those flavored waters.
But that's not really the same thing then, is it?
Yeah, I mean, you're just adding alcohol in it. So actually, it does have sugar. Huh. Interesting. Well, alcohol does have sugar. Some.
Mm. Ugh.
Is there something scientific that you want to tell me?
Nah, I'm good. Big oof. Big.
All right. I don't know, man. I don't have anything.
We can
What's
talk
up with the
about
boys?
what did you think of Shadowbringers? That's new.
What? Shadow what?
Shadowbringers.
Oh,
Final Fantasy. That's new. How do you like the game so far?
well, currently you're playing it, right?
Yeah, we're playing it.
All right. What you think?
I think it's great. I think it's the best expansion so far.
Oh yeah, and what uh, class or characters are you playing?
Trying to play at least one of each, kind of like I
A
guess
race?
yeah. So like one healer, DPS, and even among the DPS, I'm trying to play like one caster, one range, and one melee
Mm.
to like see like what are like the perspective on it. So far, healing, I would say is worse for scholars because white mage is super buff at the moment. Actually, no, it's not super buff. White mage is at the best place possible, I would say. So they made like white mage like ugh, super fun to play and super efficient. So I guess that's why like it overshadows the other two healing jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then for tank, I'm not sure because I've only played warrior, but warrior does feel the same. Feels good. So I don't know. If there's any paladin, dark knight, gunbreaker people out there.
Okay. Well, what about you, Tim? What you playing?
Well, I haven't really got into Shadowbringers yet, but I started White Mage, still level 56, so I'm getting there.
How are you liking the story? Is it's like you're at the expansion before Shadowbringers, right? Heaven Sword. Oh no, Stormblade.
No,
Stormblade.
no, I'm right before Heaven's Ward right now, actually.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of a right now it's kind of just a bunch of fetch quests, but the dungeons and stuff are pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that there's a lot more players playing now, or maybe it's just like the hype where it's just like, oh yeah, new expansion's out, so I'm just gonna give it a try for like a month or two and then quit again. I think it's either this or World of Warcraft that everyone's playing right now. Oh, well, at least for MMO RPG.
Yeah, for like subscription.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. The top.
But yeah, hopefully this will make more people play. The more people, the better.
Well, I don't know. It depends, I guess. Like, what are you trying to do?
Just trying to do the end content, and I
Yeah.
need more people.
Well, as for like new people, I've definitely like seen people walking around. I don't feel like it's dead, and I
Yeah,
definitely don't have trouble queuing.
and you're like in the beginnings of it too, right?
Right.
You're the very first game, and there's still people like. Yeah, I was really impressed by that. I was like, wow, there's people in this first. That's crazy. Yeah.
I'm definitely very impressed by the duty roulette system. I think it's really clever, and it definitely fills up a lot of the need for new players. When if there's not enough new players, you at least get some veteran ones to help you out.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant. And also, you get this book at level 60, where instead of the daily roulettes, because the daily roulettes doesn't cover everything. Like maybe you want to do end game content, but from a previous patch. So this book you get at level 60, you can actually help noobs do it, and then you get like a RNG sticker stamp. So you kind of have to keep doing it and like re-roll your stickers to like a cross, kind of like bingo, right? You're kind of like playing bingo,
Mm.
and you get like huge rewards for that. And I think that's a really good system.
Okay.
Very clever.
And the community is less toxic, is what I assume.
Uh,
I've definitely haven't. Okay, I mean, I haven't done that much stuff, but I haven't had any problems just like queuing up and just like having a good time. I mean, it's not like I haven't played MMOs or anything, so I know generally what I'm supposed to do. But I go into like the dungeons and trials blind, and sometimes we mess up and things are fine. Like I haven't seen anything toxic, so.
I think it's just because Final Fantasy, they don't have the factions. There's no like you could pick a side. Where World of Warcraft, it's like there's the Alliance side and the Horde side. So if you see each other during the quests, there's potential PvP. You know, there's no what's it called? Not
yeah, so
really a toxicity, but yeah,
there's identity politics, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
In in that game. Yeah, that's what we face right now in the real world.
Have you guys tried WoW? I don't know.
Yeah, I played for a bit, but
Because I actually really liked the two factions. Like both factions had a lot of like uniqueness to it. At least when it first started, and you kind of like identified with your brethren and just like and you did stuff together. I kind
yeah,
of like that aspect a lot.
yeah, it's what is it called? Like open world PvP for
Yeah,
yeah groups. So
I feel
the
like Final Fantasy tried to do that too, but instead there was like um the three cities. They're pretty much like against each other, kind of. Because you know how you're like Maelstrom or Adler, whatever. But I think they didn't follow through with that because because Maelstrom was too OP, right? Like they would just dominate everything in like that had anything to do with PvP. So I think it didn't work out. Kind of
Yeah,
shit.
I definitely felt something strange about those three factions because it did seem a lot like the classic like WoW faction-based PvP. But when I like really got into it, it kind of didn't amount to anything.
Yeah.
I just think 3 is too much. If it's like left or right, then it'll be a little more even. But now when it's like divided to 3 and it's not equally divided, then you're gonna have a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it depends on what you're trying to do. If you're like just doing one-on-one PvPs and then 3 factions is kind of crazy. But I think in games where you have like the big open maps where you have like 3 factions battling at the same time, I think 3 factions actually is better than 2 factions, because if you're 2 factions and 1 faction is way better than the other, then you just get crushed every time. With 3, it's a little different
Yeah, they
because
can like band together and
yeah,
fuck that other. Yeah, dude, that's what they were doing. So I don't know if you queued up yet, or there's a daily PvP, right, called the Frontline. So what they used to do was the losing team knew they were gonna lose anyways. So they would just sabotage, like they don't care about the points. They would just sabotage the winning team. Like even
yeah.
they're like fuck that. uh so funny.
Was it even though? Like the people that joined those queues? I forget if it was like 12, 12, 12 or 24, 24, 24.
Yeah, before it used to be even, but then what happened was all the good PvP players were Maelstrom, and all like the chumps were like, I think they were twin Adlers. Like the people who were like Care Bears and just like build houses. Like they were like all like, uh, is that Gridania? Are they twin Adlers? The yellow people?
um,
Yeah, probably, yeah. So we would just dominate them all the time. So what they try to do to rectify that is to now that when you go in, you're randomly assigned to a team. Like you're not always Maelstrom. They
Okay,
kind of like broke us apart, yeah.
that's smart.
oh, isn't that a setting? I thought it was just like you can choose to be a freelancer.
Not in the daily PvP roulette.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Do they still keep like the same kind of format where it's like there's like crystals that spawn and whoever destroys it?
It depends on the map.
Okay.
Some maps have like Gundams. I mean, there's like capture the flag, right? There's just kill people, and then there's I don't know what that Gundam one's supposed to be. Feels like capture the flag. Yeah, but this game really needs if there's one thing that they need to work on is PvP.
I just think right now they're too busy with focusing on the end content and all those mechanics. Because I feel like, well, I mean, obviously you can't really compare the two, but if you were to, World of Warcraft, they focus more on like the whole general thing, so they're not like if you do like the hardcore raids for World of Warcraft, it's pretty much like a tank and spank. Nothing could really one shot you, and there's like I wouldn't say too much skills. Like you don't even need to like really focus on the game in order to beat like those raids and stuff versus uh, Final
It's more about
Fantasy.
is it more about the grind to get the thing than
Yeah,
about the
it's always the grind. Yeah,
yeah.
and yeah, so I just think that Final Fantasy does more of the PVE part more, or they focus more on that.
Yeah, in a way it's frustrating too, right? Because like you can't just grind the dungeon for your weapon because you have people that can't do it. So then even if you go in, you'll fail.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you keep encountering bad people. So you end up like failing the whole day, right? So you just wasted
Mm-hmm.
and that's That might make you rage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's the yeah the I guess in that sense, World of Warcraft is more friendly towards everyone. Even if you're new, you could still get like OP gear and stuff like that.
Yeah. This game is really it jumps really fast, right? It's like you get these slow, easy dungeons, and then once you reach in game, it's like what the fuck, right? End game, you're just like, I don't think I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't even heal some of the end game stuff because it's just too difficult. Oh man, definitely high ceiling there. So that's why it's good to have multiple. Because sometimes you can manage to tank well, but you can't heal well.
Yeah, to be able to be in other people's shoes.
Yeah, and even like even DPS, right? Some DPS your way. You're just not doing enough damage. You're not in the right position.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Well, actually, World of Warcraft kind of has that too. Like, if you're a rogue, you have to stand behind in order to do the full potential damage or whatever. But
That's a very small part of World of Warcraft. I think really only rogues really had that.
mm-hmm.
And World of Warcraft positioning isn't really a thing.
Yeah.
That's actually one thing I really like about this game is that you pretty much just concentrate on what you're trying to do, and if you have to position, that's just life, it's just part of it. Because you're gonna have to position a lot.
Yeah. So it, and then depending on like, well, I guess you can't even actually do like 100% of your full potential damage because you got to be always on the lookout for where to move next. You know.
Right.
Unless you already know everything and you're just like, oh, I'll just stand here or whatever. But that's still not going to be 100% versus World of Warcraft.
I guess in that way they kind of have opposite philosophies where Final Fantasy wants the positioning to be the fun, interesting part,
Mm-hmm.
where World of Warcraft wants you to have like different skills that they want you to focus on.
Yeah, positioning is like everything in this game. Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, I think it's a really good concept because everyone can do positioning, but it's kind of hard to devise like a really interesting toolkit for every character to use. They have so much trouble balancing that game. It's kind of crazy. But in this game, they kind of don't really have to change very much about the characters. If they want the encounters to be more difficult, they just change the positioning, like radiuses or the frequencies.
Mm. I just wish they put in more variety in like the roles and classes where it's like, um, yeah, obviously there's the range, the melee, and the casters or whatever. But if they could have more variety for each class, where it's like, for example, if you were like a dragoon, um, it's like, yeah, you're playing a dragoon so that you can have fun with those jumps and stuff, but there's something lacking in the DPS. Like I feel like I feel like I'm talking a lot about like the equality and stuff like that, but it's just like, okay, well, if you kind of make everything, all the DPS balance where it's like, okay, so everyone has the potential of becoming number one, that'll be better, or that's how I think. But there's a lot of flaws, so you gotta actually watch or read the patches or updates that they do about the classes. Like, I believe from what I read, I don't know what the DPS meters are now, but dragoons are like the second to lowest. And as a dragoon player, I'm like, there's so much buttons to fucking click, and then it's like higher risk, low reward kind of thing. It's like there is no reward, so I'm just like, well, that kind of sucks, you know.
Yeah, that's actually one thing that I find crazy is that they have tons of DPS classes. But like the way that I like how they do the healing classes because they have Scholar, Astro, and White Mage, and they all do different things. Like Scholar will do the more like shield stuff, and will just like give out endless health, and in that way we kind of have a little niche that we fit into. But DPS, it's all about you just want to run up the numbers, so I'm not really sure how they can like build variety in that way.
Yeah, I just think that they should maybe increase certain things. Like, I feel like maybe this isn't the way I'm supposed to be playing dragoons, but like the most potential damage that you can actually do as a dragoon are crits, and you have limited stuff, like limited skills that'll do high crits. Like for example, if one DPS does like 10 attacks and those 10 attacks adds up to 1,000 damage, a dragoon will do like 5 attacks, and one of those attacks will maybe do 1,000 damage, but it's a chance because it's a crit. So it's kind of like, okay, well, the I don't know. So you have a chance at being good DPS, but that's not gonna happen. At least for me, because I have bad luck.
Huh, that's interesting, actually.
Because the crit, it's not gonna be 100% where it's like, or you're gonna crit every single attack, you know. So it's like you have to attack a certain amount of times, and then out of those times, it'll crit, you know. So I mean, I love seeing those big numbers, but it's I just see them like pop out at maybe like once every 10 seconds, where I see a whole bunch pop out when other people are doing it, you know.
Mm.
Or maybe dragoons is just not my not the class or job that I want to be doing.
Yeah, that's always the danger, right? Like you can't have a person climb all the way up to 80 and then realize that, actually maybe this class isn't for me. What do they do then?
Well, the good part is you don't have to re-roll, like, you know, like a new character. You could just stick with the same character and then do the same job or different jobs. Hey,
Yeah.
That's
That's one of the things I like the most, probably, about this game,
mm-hmm.
like the job system.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you keep everything on one character.
Yeah, so that you don't get bored, maybe, or you just want to try something new.
I wish more games did that, where you can just change your role.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's actually a big problem that World of Warcraft also had, is that they have a bunch of people who are just like altaholics. They just keep making alts because they're all so different.
Yeah. But I think at least when I played World of Warcraft, PvE. I don't know if you guys know the term twinks, but when you have like a high level, you like boost all your or one character to the highest level, and then from there you like farm all these low gear, and then you twink out your alts, right?
Yeah.
And the good part about that is if it's a PvP, you will dominate like crazy because you have like the super best gear. But no one really does it for PvE. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna have like the best gear to level up PvE style. Where it's like, what's the point of that when the gear that you're gonna get next from like the next quest line is like way better, you know?
Yeah, I've definitely seen those guys around. Because the way that WoW does their PvP is they separate their battlegrounds into level brackets.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll have like the 10 to 19 people. And so you'll see just like a bunch of level 19 rogues in your battlegrounds with like 2 glowing daggers, and they'll just like 2-shot everybody.
Yeah. So, well, I guess the good part about Final Fantasy is they don't really have a strong PvP, so maybe there are people who do it, but I don't really see too much of that versus World of Warcraft, of course. But that, again, you can't really compare the two. But if you were to, so yeah, I just feel like they need to somehow increase mechanics or something for certain roles, at least for PvE and Final Fantasy. Like, I'll be more thankful if they actually extended the duration maybe of my freaking chain. Like, what was it? Like a 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chain attack. That's like it does. There's a chance that one of those 6 might crit. Like, increase the duration and maybe make it like 10 chain or something like that. I don't know. Like, different ways of increasing the crit or something like that. I don't know, because they took out this one of our skills called I believe it was called heavy thrust or something like that, but it's just like a non-chain, just like something that you dump all your auto attacks or your downtime to.
So it's kind of like a off cooldown. You just kind of use it whenever.
Yeah, and then so that one increases the attack, right? Like the potential times that you attack. So that more you attack, the better, higher chance that you have a crit. But they took that out, so it's just like, okay, well, shit. Well, here I go with this long ass chain, you know. And then most of the time in the higher content, it's kind of hard to maintain that chain because you're always focused on the positionals. And I mean, I was looking at the like the top raters YouTube videos and stuff, and apparently it's not just me, you know. Like, I thought, you know, I'm just a noob. Well, obviously I am a noob, but they have a hard time too, or there's sometimes spots that they mess up too. So I'm just like, okay, well,
Yeah,
perhaps
because the
everyone can
boss
be better.
she doesn't do the same thing all the time, right? She'll
Yeah,
do a different thing, and that kind of like throws people off.
yeah. You know, touching up on that part. Usually, if I can't one shot the whole entire thing, I for some reason my mind goes into panic, and I just lose my focus on everything. So I'll do everything perfect the very first time because I go in knowing like what I need to do and stuff. And then I'll dodge everything and it'll be perfect. But if someone fucks up, then all hell breaks loose for like the next second, third, fourth try that you do. I don't know. I think it's just me, but
No, that makes sense. I
it's
mean,
weird.
pressure's on. I mean, you failed once, and you gotta catch up.
Yeah, it's. Ah, man, there's like a word for that in psychology. Like if you win, you keep on winning. Dang, what? I don't know. It's not the Matthew effect, obviously. Similar.
Yeah, but it's kind of sad. Well, I feel like kind of feel bad for everyone because it's like, oh yeah, I didn't die at least. As a dragoon, like the most thing that you maintain is not die because we're the class that gets frame locked, or what was the term of it? Like when you do a jump you're locked in this frame part where it's like the animation lock. Oh yeah, there we go, animation lock. Yeah, I get trapped in that. At least they increased like the speed of jump, but yeah, well, most of the people know that dragoons are their nicknames are floor tanks because they're always dead, so they're like always tanking the floor. But yeah, it's brutal. Like I have to maintain not dying, but also trying to do like a good DPS. And in the first run around, I'll be like really good, but then my DPS will start dropping and I'll start dying and stuff. So in that sense, I think like Summoner focuses a lot on not dying because you have like those insane chains. I don't know if you guys ever played a Summoner, but it's pretty much like leading up to the summon, the Bahamut summon. And once you get that, all your DPS starts to kick in. But yeah, I don't think I'll be able to play a summoner if that's the case. Because I have to be able to rely on the team to one shot everything. But, I mean, yeah, you would say like no one wants to die, but there's classes, DPS classes, where even if they die, they could still put out a really good DPS because they don't focus too much on like chains and combos and the longer like chains and stuff. Like even if you get like a debuff where after you die, how many percent do you lose for your DPS? I think it was like 10-15%. Like if you die once, you get like a debuff. No, you guys never died. Never saw that debuff.
Are you talking about the like echo that they have in like trials?
Like, when you die in like a dungeon, or if you have you died in a dungeon?
Yeah.
After you get rezzed, you get like a debuff.
Oh yeah.
I'm saying like that debuff, it does reduce the damage. I'm pretty sure it reduces a lot of things like your stamina and stuff like that, but I just feel like the other DPS has a more advantage towards that. Like, yeah, you lose some DPS, but like fully, it's not as bad as like let's just say for a summoner that has to do like a 5-minute rotation in order to lead up to like the potential max damage, and then you end up dying. So now you're just like, oh shit, I gotta start all over again. And then it takes you another 5 minutes just to do top DPS. Versus, I don't know, if you're like a monk or something, all you gotta do is just like do a 3-hit combo. Yeah. But for, yeah, anyways. I guess this is my take for Final Fantasy. I think that it's just like some classes may not be as strong as the like certain classes. Like dragoons can't be like they can be top DPS, depending on the team or the group, but in general they're like one of the lowest ones. And if you like the animation and like the gear that you get, then it's cool to play that. But if you're looking for top DPS, it's not a class that you would want to play. So you're playing for the animation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's more of a flavor thing.
yeah, I just feel like Final Fantasy is pushing it towards more that direction. Yeah.
I don't know. Do you? What do you think they could like do to
Well, I
like
mean,
spice up the DPS classes?
I feel like
I
Because
just
obviously this is the problem.
they already put in like what I want. What I'm talking about is pretty much like can be solved by me just playing like Black Mage or something. Like because they're like super high DPS.
I kind of like disagree with that because we don't have the end game content yet. So what they do is like here Michael will support me on this.
Okay, I can't listen to this. I need to. First of all, I've played every single DPS class. Okay, it's
Uh-huh.
not just a matter of like animations or like numbers and stuff.
Yeah.
Each one plays considerably different from each other. And the
Yeah.
reason why some classes are lower DPS than others is because some will offer utility to the party while others don't. Like Black Mage is on top because they offer zero party utility. They don't
Utility.
do anything.
And then samurai.
Dragoons, yes, it's also with samurais. But dragoons, they have the eye thingy, they have battle litany. Before they also had a piercing debuff, which was good for the range class, but they took it out. So right now they have two forms of utility. And they're not the bottom.
The bottom is dancer because
Dancer and ninja.
they have the okay. I don't know why ninja is on the
No,
bottom.
ninja's undertuned right now. It's
Yeah.
because you have to play so hard to be a ninja, and trick attack does not compensate for your lack of DPS.
Okay. But still, Dragoon is third then.
Dragoon is like, I think third or yeah, I've third. It's probably tied with monk. Black mage is still tops, and then I think samurai, and then monk and dragoon are like within each other,
Yeah.
which
And
is fine because they don't offer that much utility.
and it's not like end game content came out yet, so there's gonna be some balances.
Yeah, once Savage comes out, they're gonna what's it called?
They'll fine tune all the DPS pretty much.
Yeah, because Dancer right now is probably really undertuned.
Hopefully.
Ninja is undertuned. Black Mage is probably in a good spot. They should be number one. I don't know how the other ones fare, but other than that, you won't see major like potency increases or gameplay changes.
I feel like Black Mage
You have to play
is
each
number
one.
one because they're so positioning is super important for
Yeah, for Black Mage, it's the most important thing. Like
like
sometimes
even,
you have to wager, you have to like balance actually taking the AOE and not moving.
yeah.
Because
I remember like Michael, you got me.
sometimes you have to eat the AOE because that's just how Black Mage plays. Like you have to weigh that against actually getting your spells off.
Yeah.
So Black Mage is number one because there is a lot of complexity to it. You pretty much have to know the fight like 100%. While other classes can adjust accordingly because they are allowed to move. Like Black Mage, you can't move. You're literally stuck there you're a turret.
Yeah. So you have to know the fight really well, so it's rewarding. So they deserve to be number one.
They do deserve to be number one.
It's
And
high risk, high rewards.
yeah, like you will eat AOE's if you're a good Black Mage. You'll know which ones you can take and which ones you can't,
Yep.
and your healers will have to adjust.
So you gotta be bros with your healers.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, X-Cog me about to take
I don't know. I just feel like because they took out some certain like skills and stuff.
Well,
it's just
I was
really
for
depressing.
their heavy thrust thing. That was a personal buff to you. I think it was like 10% increase in damage.
Yeah.
They took it out, but they buffed the your other skills accordingly, so it doesn't even matter. It's one less thing to keep up as a dragoon. It's a quality of life thing. Like
At
you don't
least
have that.
was 100% though. Like the buffs that they did, it's like yeah, they buffed it, but you have to be able to.
No, okay. What heavy thrust did is one skill that increased your damage by 1%. They took it out and they just buffed the potencies of all your skills. So they just baked in the effect of heavy thrust into everything else. That's what I'm trying to say. Like it's one less button to press for you with the same effect. So there is no loss that it's gone.
Mm.
They did that with a lot of classes. They streamlined a bunch.
I just don't like the disappointment. The what's it called?
If you want
the RNG.
complexity, I mean that's what you're asking. Is that what you're asking for? You want complexity in your class? Then play
What?
Ninja.
No,
Well, you're asking like
I
why
already
did
did play Ninja. I didn't like it. No, I'm saying that they should have like a better way, like more damage, because dragoons rely a lot on crit. Is what I feel.
Not really. Not more than anybody else.
Okay, well,
If anything, Bard was the one that relied on crit the most because their skills actually needed to crit in order for their songs to proc, but they took that out.
yeah, but okay. Besides your auto attack, how many skills that do you rotate and could
Me?
stand? Yeah,
As what class? What are you talking
as
about?
as a bard,
As a Bard, I have like 3.
right? You could just spam 3. Whereas dragoon, it's like
Yeah, but
okay,
it's a
1.
different kind of playstyle. You have combos. Each
No, no,
subsequent
okay, no. I'm
skill in
saying
your combo does more damage. I don't
no.
understand your argument of wanting more crit.
I'm
Everybody wants
saying
more crit.
I'm saying I have okay 5 no 6 combo
Yeah,
change,
you have like
and
a huge ass
that's
combo chain now.
attack. That's okay. One button is one attack, right?
Uh huh.
So I'm attacking 6 times, and out of that
Okay.
6 times, only one time, or like there's like maybe a chance for me to crit between those 6 chances. Versus you only had to click 3 in order to like have like a what's it called, like
What are
potential.
you talking about? Probably doesn't work that way, Tim.
It's probably like
I
what's it
would
called,
still have to.
the
If I use 10 weapon skills as well, my crit chance would be the same as yours.
the
But the
duration, the duration.
potencies of my skills are actually less than yours. You have like a 600 potency weapon skill, don't you?
That's like, well, yeah, okay, yeah, I guess.
You can't just the number of skill doesn't matter. It's the potencies that matter. If you want to do like a so what in 10 you're talking about 10 weapon skills, which is what like 25 seconds because each one's 2.5. So how much shit you can fit in 25 seconds? That's what should be worried about.
I just want the duration to go a little lower.
What do you mean
So
the
that
duration? I
so
don't
if
understand
I
what you're asking for.
okay, so if I'm able to click more buttons, that means I could attack more.
Do you want more off global cooldowns? Is that what you want?
No, not the global ones.
No, I said off global
Oh
cooldowns.
yeah.
But you
Like
have like 4, and they're all high potencies.
yeah, but it's only like a chance. Like even if it doesn't crit, it's like really low. Like I have to crit in order to do like good damage.
Well, so does everybody else. I don't understand the argument here.
Really? So you're saying that what's it called? All the top DPS, well, minus the black mage, they rely on crit.
Nobody relies on crit. Crit is just a bonus damage.
Yeah, but I'm saying that dragoons rely more on crit.
Okay.
Well, maybe I'm playing the dragoon wrong or something, but like I mainly the stats I focus on first is crit.
But I don't understand why you rely on crit. That's what I'm trying to say.
Because I thought that's like the source of damage.
No, it's about potencies. You have to look at the potencies of your skill, how much you can do in a certain time frame. Crit is just a bonus. Because the chance to crit is the same for everybody else.
Okay. So.
But you actually have larger potency, so your crits will hit harder than like mine will.
Okay, if that's the case, then how come in the DPS meters, or just I mean not DPS meters, but like in the general, like samurais and stuff like that is on the top DPS?
Why are they the top? Is
Yeah.
that what you're asking? Because they offer no utility to the party. They should be up top. Dragoons,
okay, so you're
you
saying
have buffs. You have your little eye thingy. You have battle litany. Those things are that
Okay,
increases the
okay.
whole overall raid DPS.
Okay, I know what you're saying now. Okay.
So to compensate for that, you're gonna have a little bit lowered like personal DPS.
Okay. So I'm dropping DPS for
For
rate
utility.
utility. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it's always been.
Okay.
That's why Dancer right now is the bottom because they offer the most utility. And Black Mage offered 0 utility, like absolutely 0. Like they don't do anything to help the party in terms of DPS.
They could help the healer.
Huh?
They could help the healer.
Not anymore. They can't. They took out mana shift.
What? Okay. All right.
Yeah, so that's literally 0. 0 utility.
Well, all right. Well done, Michael. Well clarified.
I'm gonna say I just don't want you guys to have the wrong misconception of things.
Okay. Well, what do you think should be? Do you think that it's fair right now as it is, like the classes and?
I do. As opposed from Ninja and Dancer being undertuned. I think everyone else is in a good spot.
Healers and tanks as well.
Well, I've only seen numbers. Well, healers, Astros are complete ass. They need like reworked. They need potency increases, maybe cooldown reductions. I haven't played all the tanks, so I'm not sure. But Warrior seems like in a good place. Dark Knight is a bit. I like Dark Knight. They're a bit like harder to play than the other ones, and I haven't tried that Gunbreaker, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
But in terms of like the content, this has been a fairly balanced patch or expansion, I suppose.
But you guys are saying there's still potential updates on classes.
Yeah, they're gonna tune the classes when after Savage comes out. That's what they usually do. Because that's Savage is like end game content. They need the balance for that. So once like I think after Savage will come out 2 weeks after regular, and then they'll take some time from that gathering data and then readjust the classes from there.
Did they go like really hardcore to the point where they change like a skill
Probably
or like a
not.
chain? Oh, it's just
They
like the
won't change like
potency and stuff.
they're not gonna do like major gameplay changes. Mostly like potency adjustments, unless there's a class that's really in trouble. Which, as of right now, I don't think there is one, except maybe Astro. They're like the worst. It's the worst class at the moment compared to the other two healers. They're just terrible.
Okay.
Because I've played one. I play all the healers, and Astro is definitely undertuned. White Mage is in a good spot, and Scholar just needs to Aether Flow out of combat. Apparently.
Okay. And do you need? Do you want to say anything about the death part?
Or what?
The death part, like the high risk and reward for deaths. Do you? Okay.
Oh,
Well,
for
do you?
Dragoons?
Yeah.
I feel like that has to do with I know where that comes from, and I think it's pretty funny too. I don't know.
You understand what I'm trying to say though, right? Like dragoons and summoners, at least, like the
Yeah,
classes that
summoners will take a big hit if they die because of their the way they summon Bahamut. They need
the 5 minute
whatever
freaking
their thing is
long
called.
thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, I don't really have a problem with that because if you're playing correctly, you shouldn't be dying anyways.
Right.
And like it's rewarding to summon like Bahamut and the Phoenix thing. It's like that's fun for people. Like that's one of the play styles Or that's just how Summoner's playstyle is. Very bursty. While you have other more sustained DPS like Monk. They don't really have big burst phase, but they'll have a just constant DPS. It's just how they add variety to it. I
Yeah,
guess that's
you
what.
gotta go fast.
Yeah. Like if you want to see big numbers like every 5 minutes, play Summoner. If you just want to do like very consistent small numbers all the time, play Monk. If you want to kill your fingers, play Ninja.
You gotta go fast.
There's like something for everyone here.
So it's all just depending on your play style that you want to play and the animation.
Yeah, it's just what you like. Some people play because the armor looks cool. I mean, I did that.
Okay, well there you have it. Spoken by the true expert.
What?
Is all the classes that you played max?
I got them all to 70 except Monk.
Okay.
So I just didn't like Monk.
All right. So there you
Well,
go.
Gunbreaker Dancer too, I guess.
Blue Mage.
That is a clown.
Isn't a blue mage like the one before it? Like the
Dude,
class
I've been
before
seeing
it?
Blue Mage in those Wondrous Tales. They're freaking OP, man.
In the what?
The Wondrous Tales,
What do you
the
mean?
Extreme Primals.
Oh, they can do that stuff?
Yeah, they can do those. Oh man, pretty cool.
Oh, is
All right.
that is
Sorry,
that
Nev, you guys can do your own thing now.
What happened?
is the blue mage a like a low class, like a pre-requirement for like a higher job?
It's
Emma?
a limited class.
I don't
So
think it turns into anything.
yeah, and you can't take it into like endgame stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You can
you
or
can.
can't?
You cannot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and because they only stop, they can only level up to level 50.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you want to do like the old content, like the patch that Tim's on right now, as a blue mage, you can. But you have to go from a party finder, not through roulettes or the traditional way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because they're OP. They can heal, they can tank, they can DPS.
All right. All right. So, I guess we're gonna cut it short today. Today was just like the announcement for our slots for Anime Expo, and yeah, that was the main thing. I didn't want to make it like a 5 minute podcast, so there you go. So thank you guys for joining. Have a good evening, good night, good morning, good afternoon, and I'll see you all next time on Dragon Ball Z.